There was a red dot. Just a stupid red notification dot glowing in the corner of her iMessage app. I wasn't even trying to snoop. I was just turning off her alarm. But I saw it. The message preview said, "Thanks again. Can't wait for round 2 winking face, M." I froze. She was in the shower. Her phone was unlocked. And I swear to you, I stood there for a full minute, not blinking, like my brain just short-circuited. Not even from what it said, but how casual it sounded. Like it wasn't the first time. Like there was a round 1. I didn't open the full message. I couldn't. I'm not wired for confrontation. I'm the kind of guy who apologizes when someone bumps into me. So instead, I just locked the screen, put her phone back where I found it, and sat on the edge of the bed like a ghost. That was 3 days ago. Since then, I've pretended everything's fine. She kissed me goodbye this morning. Said she had after-hours meetings and not to wait up. She wore lipstick she never wears for me. And I just smiled like an idiot and told her to drive safe. Then tonight happened. 1:07 a.m. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. It wasn't her, but it was from her number. "Hey, she's busy. She'll call you later." Sent from her phone. I swear my soul left my body for a second. I reread the text. Over, and over, and over. Busy, at 1 a.m. With her boss, Marcus, whose name just happens to start with an M. I didn't reply right away. I just stared at the message while my hands started to tremble. I wanted to scream, or cry, or punch something. But instead I just sat there. Same way I did with the red dot. This time, though, I did respond. And what I sent next would make them both panic so hard. They'd wish they'd just turned off the lights and gone home. I didn't even think before I typed it. My thumbs moved on their own, like they were just done waiting for the rest of me to catch up. My response was fast, petty, and straight up fake, but it worked. Tell her flight got flagged. TSA called. Something about a suspicious bag. It was dumb, I know, but I needed to scare them. Shake them off whatever little fantasy they were wrapped up in. I figured if she was really busy, she wouldn't respond. But if she was guilty, she'd panic. I didn't have to wait long. 10 minutes later, 10 agonizing, pacing the kitchen floor minutes, her phone started buzzing like a slot machine. Not 1 call. Not 2. 5. 6. Back to back, her name lighting up my screen. No voicemail. Just missed calls and a barrage of texts. "What are you talking about? Did someone call you? Where are you getting this?" And then one that stopped me cold. "Did you go through my emails?" Emails. She thought I saw her emails? What kind of emails would make her this panicked over a made-up TSA alert? I didn't respond. I just watched the screen light up again and again. And that's when the voice in my head, the one I've silenced for months, came back screaming. This wasn't just a flirty text. This wasn't just one bad decision. This was deep, premeditated, covered up, ongoing. I remembered something else. She hadn't packed a suitcase for this trip. She left with a carry-on and no laptop. That didn't make sense for a multi-day client conference. But at the time, I told myself not to be controlling. God, I hate how easily she used that word on me. Controlling. Anytime I asked a normal question. What hotel are you staying at? Controlling. Who else from your team is going? Controlling. Why didn't you answer your phone last night? Guess what? Still controlling. She made me feel like asking for basic transparency was some toxic trait. Like I was the problem. And I believed her. For months. For years. So yeah, I didn't call her back. I texted one more thing instead. "If you're really in Chicago, send me a picture of your hotel room right now. Better yet, send me a video." No reply. 5 minutes. 10. Nothing. Then I did something I haven't done since we got married. I logged into our phone carrier's account. It felt gross. Like I was betraying some kind of unspoken rule. But I had to know. And what I saw confirmed everything I was afraid of, and then some. There was no roaming ping in Chicago. No cell tower activity anywhere near Illinois. Her phone hadn't left Connecticut. She never got on that flight. I didn't even bother putting on real clothes. I grabbed my hoodie off the doorknob, slipped on yesterday's socks, and got in the car. The whole time, I kept checking the phone account dashboard like some obsessive freak, watching her phone ping the same tower in Maple Hollow. Not Chicago. Not even out of state. She was 23 minutes away. And for the first time in our marriage, she was stupid enough to leave a digital trail. I shouldn't have gone. I know that. Rational people don't do late-night drive-bys. But I wasn't rational. I was unraveling. It felt like something was crawling under my skin. Some mix of humiliation and disbelief. And yeah, rage too, but the sad kind. The kind that just makes your chest hurt. I didn't know exactly where she was, but I knew Marcus's address. She accidentally airdropped me a PDF last year with their company's pitch deck, and it included a slide labeled Executive BIOS. His face was on it, next to an upscale address in Maple Hollow. Back then I didn't think anything of it. Now, I was praying it wasn't a coincidence. As I turned onto his street, every house looked like it belonged in a car commercial. Clean driveways, motion lights, American flags, fake lanterns mounted next to the garage. The kind of neighborhood where people call the HOA if your trash bins stay out past noon. Then I saw it. Third house from the corner. 2 cars in the driveway. One was a sleek gray Mercedes, probably his. The other, a black sedan with Connecticut plates. Same dent above the back wheel. Same magnetic phone holder on the dash. Her car. My throat tightened so fast I thought I was choking. I pulled into a dark curb across the street and just sat there, gripping the steering wheel like it was the only thing keeping me from flying apart. I wanted to storm up and bang on the door. I wanted to throw her suitcase into the lawn. But I didn't do any of that. Instead, I took out my phone and snapped a photo. One of the car, one of the house number, one of both, just to be thorough. Then, without thinking, I pulled up the messages again and typed out one final text. Nice Mercedes. Tell him the mailbox camera just got a great shot of both of you. It was a bluff. There was no mailbox camera. There wasn't even a mailbox on that side of the street. But 5 minutes later, her car headlights blinked on and the engine started. I ducked. Yes, ducked. Like a coward. I didn't want her to see me. I didn't want her to know that I knew. Not yet. She pulled out of the driveway and sped off like she was being chased. And Marcus? He stood at the doorway, watching her go, wearing what looked like sweatpants and a smug little smirk on his face. Like I didn't exist. Like I never existed. And maybe, to them, I didn't. But I was about to. I didn't plan to follow her. I swear I didn't. But once she pulled away from Marcus's house, something inside me just clicked. Like, if I let her disappear into the night again, with no answers, no consequences, I'd never forgive myself. So I gave it a 5-second head start, then turned the engine on and followed the faint glow of her taillights through those dark, perfect streets. At first, I thought she was headed home. That would have made sense, right? Cover her tracks. Get under the covers. Pretend she fell asleep watching Netflix in some hotel room in Chicago. Maybe even fake a morning meeting. But she didn't go toward our house. She took the highway. Southbound. It was past 2 a.m. by now, and every song on the radio felt like a bad joke. Loyal to Me by Nina Nesbitt came on, and I almost laughed out loud. My GPS lit up as I tracked her route from memory. I didn't even need to check anymore. I knew where she was going the moment she took the Larchmont exit. Her sister's house. That's when things got weird. Ines and her sister, Rhea, haven't spoken in over 6 months. They had some kind of falling out, something about money and an old loan. I don't know the details because I wasn't allowed to ask. Not my business, she said at the time. But suddenly, tonight, after getting caught in her boss's driveway, she decided to go see the one person she claimed to hate. I stayed 2 houses down, engine off, lights off, watching like some third-rate detective. She parked, walked up to the front door, rang once, and didn't even wait. Rhea opened the door immediately, almost like she was expecting her. They hugged. I watched it. I witnessed it. They stood there on the porch for a few seconds in awkward silence. Then Rhea pulled Ines inside and shut the door. I felt this strange sense of betrayal all over again, like the world was rewriting itself behind my back. What was going on between them? Was this some long-running scheme? Was her sister in on it? I always thought Rhea didn't like me. Now I knew. She probably never did. I waited for half an hour. Nothing. No lights upstairs. No arguing. Just silence. And maybe it was the exhaustion, or the humiliation, or the pure, unfiltered spiral I was in, but I did something really, really stupid. I got out of the car. I crossed the street. My shoes scraped the edge of her driveway. I just wanted to see, okay? Just wanted to know. I thought maybe I'd hear something. Or maybe just stand there long enough for the universe to offer me a sign. Instead, I got a shadow. In the window. Not one. 2. One of them was my wife. The other was not her sister. The man was taller, wearing a hoodie. He came up behind her and put his hand, his full hand, around her waist. I backed away so fast I tripped over the curb, fell straight onto my side like some clumsy, Heartbroken idiot. I didn't feel the pain until I got back in the car. Didn't even wipe the dirt off my palms. Just sat there, in the dark, with the image burned into my eyes. She left Marcus's house to meet another man at her sister's house. A second affair? A cover-up? What even was this? None of it made sense. But it was real, and I finally understood that I didn't just lose my wife. I lost the version of her I thought was real. I didn't sleep. Not even for a minute. I sat in the car until dawn, parked near a gas station, wondering who the hell the man in the hoodie was. It wasn't Marcus. I know what that smug snake looks like. This guy was younger, broader, moved differently. And he sure didn't act like someone surprised to see my wife show up in the middle of the night. By 6:30 a.m., I was back home, wired on gas station coffee and adrenaline. I kept thinking she'd text. Something. Anything. A lie. An excuse. Even silence would have meant something. But my phone was dead quiet, like I didn't even exist in her world anymore. Then, at 8:03 a.m., I heard the front door open. She walked in like she was returning from a yoga class. Hair tied up. Casual joggers. No apology. No panic. She just tossed her keys on the counter and opened the fridge like it was a normal Wednesday. I asked her where she spent the night. She blinked at me. I told you I was in Chicago. I almost laughed. That was her answer. Her defense. A flat-out lie, told directly to my face, after I literally watched her leave one man's house and enter another's. I told her I knew she wasn't on that flight. Her smile dropped. Only for a second. Then she leaned on the counter and said, "Are you spying on me now?" That's when it hit me. She wasn't shocked. She was prepared for this. She'd been rehearsing this confrontation in her head. Her strategy wasn't to deny. It was to gaslight. I asked her about the guy, the one at her sister's. She didn't flinch, just stared at me and said, "You saw wrong. You saw wrong." Not what guy? Not, Ria wasn't even home. Just, you saw wrong. I wish I could say I kept my cool. But something inside me broke. Not in a loud, explosive way. In a cold, hollow way. Like the floor dropped out beneath me, and I just stopped feeling anything. So I didn't argue. I didn't accuse. I simply walked to my office, pulled out a small manila envelope I had tucked away for emergencies, and placed it on the kitchen table. Inside was a copy of the phone bill, printed with every ping, every location. She didn't even open it. She just looked at me and said, "So what now?" And I swear, I didn't know how to answer. Because I wasn't sure who I was even talking to anymore. She didn't say anything else after, "So what now?" Just stood there waiting for me to blow up. But I didn't. I think that unsettled her more than if I'd screamed. I just picked up the envelope, slid it back into the drawer, and said I was heading out for a walk. Truth is, I had nowhere to go. I just couldn't breathe in the same room as her anymore. I ended up sitting in my car again. Same hoodie. Same empty coffee cup in the cup holder. I must have stared at my reflection in the side mirror for 10 minutes straight, wondering how long I'd been lying to myself. How long had she been building this double life right under my nose? Then, around 9:40 p.m, I got the message. Not from her. Not from Marcus. It was from an unknown number. A 203 area code. The first message said, "You don't know me, but I think we should talk. I'm Marcus's wife." I nearly dropped the phone. My heart started hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. I didn't even know Marcus was married. I mean, I assumed. He wore a ring, but Ines never mentioned his wife. She always said he's private, or his personal life's messy when I asked. Which, in hindsight, was her lazy way of deflecting. The next message came before I could reply. "I saw your text to him. The one about the mailbox camera." Now I was really sweating. She added, "That scared him. Good. He deserves to be scared. But you're not the only one he's lied to." I finally replied. Something simple. Just, how long? She didn't hesitate. 7 months. Maybe longer. They met up during team retreats. I have screenshots. And a recording. A recording? That word hit differently. I sat there gripping the phone like it was a grenade. I didn't ask for proof. I didn't ask for anything. I just typed, "Can we meet?" No answer. Not yet. But that was the moment the ground shifted. Because now it wasn't just my wife's betrayal. It was a conspiracy. And the other betrayed spouse? She was ready to talk. We met at a diner off Route 5, the kind of place where the booths are cracked and the coffee tastes like burned hope. Her name was Callista. She wore no makeup, no ring, and no patience for small talk. She slid into the seat across from me like we were already in the middle of a conversation, one we'd both been having with ourselves for too long. She didn't waste time. She pulled a phone from her coat and dropped it on the table between us. No warning, no build-up. Just hit play. At first it was muffled. Some background noise, a car maybe. Then voices. Hers. My wife's. And Marcus. The recording must have been made through a pocket or a bag, but the audio was clear enough to make my stomach turn. Ines laughed first. I know that laugh. The fake one she uses when she's flirting. Then she said something like, he still thinks I'm in Chicago. He actually sent a text to my mom last time to make sure I had a real alibi. Then Marcus. You're lucky he's that dumb. That hit harder than it should have. I guess I still thought maybe, deep down, she'd felt some guilt. But hearing her mock me like that, with him, in a car, or a hotel, or wherever the hell they were, I went cold. Completely cold. Callista just watched me. Not judging. Just waiting. She told me she found the recording by accident. Said Marcus uses the voice memo app to record pitches and sometimes forgets to delete them. She'd gone through his phone during a gut-feeling moment, the same way I checked our mobile account that night. Turned out we were living parallel disasters. Then she pulled out a folder. I'm not kidding. An actual manila folder, like we were characters in some low-budget legal thriller. Inside were screenshots, calendar invites, hotel receipts, photos of Marcus and Ines at the same places, dates overlapping with her supposed client weekends. There was even a credit card charge for a spa treatment booked under both of their names. I didn't say much. I couldn't. I felt hollow, like someone had scooped the inside of my chest out with a dull spoon. Then she leaned in and said, they're planning something. I blinked. What do you mean, planning? Callista lowered her voice. There's a transaction from 3 weeks ago. A lease deposit. She signed it. Not him. A loft in Stamford. She showed me the document. Ines used her maiden name. She'd already put money down on a new place. A place without me in it. The moment I saw her name on the lease agreement, something in me finally settled. It was like all the noise, the anxiety, the gut-tightening nights, the lies I'd let pile up around me, just stopped. I wasn't angry anymore. Not really. I was just done. Done trying to win someone who already left me months ago in her heart, long before her body ever walked out the door. I didn't confront her. I didn't scream or demand explanations. What could she possibly say at this point that would change anything? Instead, I called a locksmith, changed the codes, and started packing her things into neat little boxes. I left a note on the coffee table, not bitter, just honest. It said, you don't owe me an apology. I just wish you'd been honest sooner. The silence would have hurt less. Then I locked the door behind me and left. Callista and I stayed in touch, not in the way you might think. We didn't trauma bond our way into a rebound fling. We just understood each other. She sent me the final proof I needed to protect myself legally, and I helped her prepare for her own quiet exit. Turns out, she'd been planning to leave Marcus even before the affair. His betrayal was just the final excuse. As for Ines, she didn't even respond to my note. She picked up her boxes one afternoon while I was at work, left behind a single necklace and the framed photo of our wedding day. I think she wanted that to sting, but honestly, it felt like closure. Now, I sleep better. I go on walks without checking my phone every 10 seconds. I cook for one, and actually enjoy the silence. It's weird. Peace isn't loud or dramatic. It's just quiet, and it's mine again. I'm not saying I'm healed. That takes time. But I'm no longer stuck inside someone else's secret. I'm no longer begging for crumbs of love from a table where I was never really invited. And honestly, that's the happiest ending I could have asked for.